Hey everyone, today we are talking about Mackinac. Mackinac City, Mackinac Island, it's the perfect Michigan getaway. And if you have just 24 hours to spend around Mackinac Island and Mackinac City, here is exactly what you should do for your Michigan adventure. So this trip was only one night. We arrived in Mackinac City around 12:30 p.m. It was too early to check into our hotel. We chose the Best Western Plus Dockside Waterfront Inn for no particular reason other than it was walking distance to everything and had a free breakfast in the morning. They were very hospitable. It was too early to check in, like I said, so we were able to leave our car there and we walked down to the ferry dock. It's a very easy walk, roughly 10 minutes. They do also have a transportation bus if you wanted to do that. Then also parking at the hotel saves you money because when you park at the ferry dock, it is $10 to $20 per vehicle to park there, and it is an off-site parking and you still take the shuttle bus in. So this saved even more money by just parking where we already paid, which was the hotel. Here, once you go through the gates of whichever, there's two different ferry docks that you can use. We chose one of them. I'm not promoting either one, so I'm not showing their advertisement, but either of them are walking distance and you just walk right through. You can either purchase your tickets online ahead of time, you just show them your barcode, they scan it, or you can buy it right there and then go through. So once you go through the check-in point, you just keep on walking until you get to where they scan where they scan your app or your printed copy, and you just walk right on the ferry. 16 minutes after boarding the ferry, we step onto Mackinac Island. So it's a very quick trip. You can see here, it's a beautiful trip. You can see the bridge from the background. They do have a couple times a day where you can take an extended 10 minutes and they take you underneath the bridge. Those are very well noted on their webpage when you go to pick the ferry time on your ferry schedule. Once you purchase the tickets though, they're good at any time. So you don't have to worry about it if I purchase my tickets online, they're just for any time. So if I would have missed the 1 o'clock ferry, I could have just taken the next ferry. So for us, we arrived at 12:30 in the afternoon. We went in, set our business at the hotel. We grabbed our things from our car, which was basically our water and a sweatshirt, and went and got in line on the ferry. So we were on the ferry at 1 o'clock, but if we would have missed it, we just wait around and hang out, enjoy the view, and catch the next one. But if you want the extended ones where it's 10 minutes longer and they go underneath this beautiful, beautiful bridge, then all you have to do is, right here, the bridge is what I'm talking about. All you have to do is hop on, one's 9 and one's 9:30 in the morning. So very easy. So we did not choose to go under the bridge. We took we extended our time beyond the morning. So we were at the 1 o'clock, like I said, and 16 minutes later we arrived. And the first thing that greeted us was this beautiful horse-drawn carriage, which are everywhere, and you will continue to see them as you walk around the island. This particular one was a taxi. We didn't need a taxi. But it was the perfect reminder that life slows down here on the island. There are no cars, just horses, bicycles, people enjoying the day. Now, if I had to say a downfall, I would say that there's too many e-bikes. You're not supposed to have e-bikes there. Apparently, there was a time when you could, and so they don't really enforce that all that great. So that was a little bit uneasy at times just because it seemed to startle the horses sometimes. But other than that, it's very relaxing, and you're just seeing people walking around, riding their bikes, and enjoying the day. Now, I'm using this provided map from the Visitor Center because it gives you a good overview of what we're looking at, all right? So here, let me change my pen here because I'd already circled on the map. The very first thing that we wanted to do was do the narrated horse-drawn carriage tour, all right? And it covers this is the dock area right here, and this is where you get on the narrated horse-drawn carriage tour, and then this red area that's circled, that is where the horse-drawn carriage tour drives to when you're going around, okay? So you're not going around the whole island all around here on the horse-drawn carriage tour, okay? Options, you can pay a private tour to do that. We did not choose to do that for economical purposes. Or you can rent bikes and drive around the island. So we had done that in the past. That's also fabulous, but we wanted someone to tell us about what we were seeing this time. So we chose the narrated tour, and we chose the most basic one that didn't offer entry fees to anything, and I think it was $47 a piece. So a little bit pricey, but it's a pretty cool, unique experience. Now, they're on the first stop, on the horse-drawn carriage tour, it's honestly one of the best ways to see the island. And the narrated tour takes you through the downtown area before heading off into Mackinac Island State Park. And then along the way, you pass several historic cemeteries, Skull Cave, beautiful forest scenery, and several famous landmarks before stopping at Arch Rock and Fort Mackinac. So very great. Let me show you a couple of the options here. I don't know why I said very great, but it was great. All right, it was a great tour. So on next, I'll show you a couple pictures from the tour. All right, this is just what it looks like. It is so beautiful and scenic. When you're in the town area where you get on the horse-drawn carriage tour, it's very busy. There's a lot of tourists. We were there on a Monday, so it was actually fairly pleasant, but they said that that is just kind of the calm before the storm because we went very early in the season. We went on June 1st. So this is what it looks like, though. It's beautiful. There's no traffic. There's nothing going on out here. You're just going through the woods, and they tell you about the island and things that you're seeing as you move through. The carriage held, I think, 12 people, and then there is the driver who has a headphone on, and you can hear them through the speaker system on the carriage tour, so you can hear everything that they're saying. One of our favorite stops on the horse-drawn carriage tour was the Arch Rock, and there's a great overlook where you can insert a quarter into the viewing scope and zoom in on boats, freighters, and everything passing through the Straits of Mackinac. The Arch Rock itself is incredible. It is a natural limestone arc standing nearly 150 feet above the water and stretches over 50 feet wide. And it was formed, I think the plaque said 4,000 years ago, from erosion, and is one of the island's most iconic landmarks. Definite stopper for pictures. Has a great little rail there, so you're not worried about falling over, and it's great pictures there. Must stop. As we drove and continued, our driver joked with us that we are now about to pass the most expensive government housing on the island. And so, of course, we were all thinking about the employees that make the island run successfully, maybe one of the park employees. But no, of course, he was talking about the governor's summer residence, which has hosted Michigan governors on Mackinac Island for decades and overlooks some really incredible views. Now, we continued on with our great tour, which was phenomenal. Like I said, it ends at Fort Mackinac. And this is a historic, iconic site with original buildings on the site, a little great place where you can grab something to eat if you would like. They have different activities going on for kids and adults, and it's a really great stop. We have done it in the past, so we were going to continue on. You can get off at this stop. That's where the actual guided tour ends at Fort Mackinac, or you can stay on and it will drop you off pretty close to the Grand Hotel if you want to do that. So we chose that. Our plan was we were going to go to the Grand Hotel and check things out and then walk around through town and walk through Fort Mackinac. So unfortunately, we did not know that the fort closes at 4:30. So we missed it. So that was really a bummer. But we chose the Grand Hotel stop. Fort Mackinac is absolutely worth visiting. It dates back to the late 1700s. It offers cannon demonstrations, military history, and some of the best views anywhere on the island. It is all elevated, and it's a really great tour. So like I said, we had done that in the past, and we were planning on going after we went to the Grand, but again, we missed the time frame. So if it's something you want to do, make sure you plan it before 4:30. So what was on our list was ice cream. And it was a great day for ice cream. It was a nice warm day. So we decided we wanted to go a little bit further, get off, and walk down to the Grand Hotel, which was, I don't know, maybe a 3 to 5 minute walk. It was not a far walk. Very easy walking. It wasn't anything uphill or anything. So before exploring more, we grabbed ice cream at Sadie's, which is right here. You can see in the front, this is the front of the Grand. Let me change my pen here so you can see. We'll do purple. So you can see here, right on the kind of the side of the Grand, this is the Grand entrance right here. And this is where Sadie's ice cream is right here. And Sadie's is phenomenal. And was it a little expensive? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. They make the waffle cones right there, right in front of you. So it smells so good. It was so great. And then once we did that, we continued on with our tour. I did write the price list there. Of course, it doesn't mean the price will always say this rate, but it is just a great little shop. You can see the menu in both of these areas here. I circled this one and the different options. So it was a perfect stop to walk around the Grand. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. So important to know, this is the Grand, and if you want to walk into the Grand, just to walk on the famous porch, it is $14 per person for admission to walk on the famous front porch. So we skipped that. Still enjoyed some great scenery. It was beautiful. You can walk around on the right-hand side here. This is the Grand Hotel porch, which was just amazing. But we walked all the way up here, and you can turn right and go down here even for some great views. Very beautiful. And then from this vantage point, kind of where this horse carriage is right here, you're looking out at this. Okay, so this is the view. So you can see this wasn't the pool, this is some kind of landscaping that wasn't running at that time. But over here is the pool area, which was phenomenal. And then of course right here is the Mackinac Bridge. So great views, great just walking around. They were bringing in all their beautiful flowers, and it was very beautiful. So you don't need to spend the $14 per person, of course, if you want to. I'm just telling you what the price is, but to walk around the grounds here is free. So the next thing I want to talk about is looking for the secret garden. So I had heard people talking about it. I'd never been there before, and it just sounded so mysterious and fun. As you're walking around the grounds at the Grand with your ice cream, of course, you just get some really great views. So one of the views is you can see the governor's mansion again here, but you're walking along the path and you'll see a lot of poles with lanterns on them. And you're looking for the one that has this right here. You're looking for the one that has the picture of a shovel on it. That is the entrance to the secret garden. Once you walk through that little path, it opens up to this view. It was so phenomenal. It is one of the most beautiful flower gardens. It actually looks fake. It looks like a backdrop, but this is really what it looked like. And you can see in the straight on picture, there's a little bridge. It's a walking bridge, so you can actually walk across this. And then right here is a little peak of the Grand kind of behind it. There was people taking lots of photos, of course, and it was just really beautiful and worth finding, because it was honestly the most beautiful thing on the island other than looking at the water. It was shocking how bright and beautiful. It reminded me of the Wizard of Oz movie. It looked fake. It ended up being one of my favorite places of the entire trip. And of course, better yet, it is free. It's all free when you walk around the grounds. So definitely a must-do. So after finishing up everything at the Grand, we decided to keep walking into town, which was a very easy walk. Took maybe 5 or 6 minutes. It's downhill, and went for some shopping and dinner. We wandered through the shops and browsed, and eventually we had dinner at the Pink Pony. So whether you sit outside, which was beautiful, it looks at the boats and the ferries coming in, or in the bar area, or there's a little bit fancier dining room area. It's a great atmosphere no matter which one you choose. We picked the bar area. We had a fantastic time thanks to the great food, hilarious wait staff, and they just have a lot of fun little pictures and things like that around. So you can see this is outside, and then here we walked in the main area where there was fancier dining, and then right here is the entrance into the bar. You can also get there from the street. There's a little gift shop right here. They had some cool and unique things in it. And then here, there's some funny pictures on the wall and things like that. So just a fun place. It was fun. Since it was Monday evening, downtown had already started quieting down, but that made it even nicer. But a lot of the shops and stuff, they were closed by 5 o'clock. So you want to be aware of that if there's somewhere that you really want to hit that isn't just walking or dining. This photo is just to show you how calm the streets were. This was after dinner, so I think this was at about 7 o'clock p.m. on a Monday. And you can see there's hardly anyone around, just a few people walking around, hardly anybody. And on various stops, you'll see the taxis that are ready to take somebody if they want to go somewhere. So one thing that wasn't closed is the fudge shops. And of course, that's an island favorite. They were handing out samples and had just finished making a fresh batch. We ended our day sitting on rocking chairs at a little hotel across the street and eating fresh fudge and watching the horses stroll by. It was really magical. It was one of those simple moments that you just remember for a long time. You can see in this picture here, hold on, I'm going to change my color again. In this picture here, these are the fudge tables where they make it. So this is where they mix the fudge, and this is where they make it on these tables. We had passed by several times throughout the day, and they were making it fresh. You can go in there at any time. They make it fresh, and they'll give you a little bite. Again, this was later in the evening, so they had the tables already covered, but you can watch from the windows. You can go in if the smells lure you in. We were laughing because right outside all the fudge shops, they have their ventilator system that blows down on the sidewalk so you can smell it when you're walking by. But it was really great. So this is just what it looks like. You pick what fudge you want, and it has the labels in front. And then they always have samples at the counter. And if you get there early enough, you can see it being made. Like I said, we were there earlier and seen it, but we were saving getting our fudge until after dinner, and we already looked and seen that they didn't close until, I think it was 8 o'clock. So we knew we had lots of time. Again, fudge is another don't miss stop. Once we left the fudge shop, we just walked maybe 3 or 4 storefronts, turned left, and there we were ready to board to get back on the ferry to go back to Mackinac City. So we really did see everything we wanted to see. It was great, and we boarded the 8 p.m. ferry, and there were only about 15 people on board. Took about the regular 16 minutes. It was a beautiful ride. We were able to see again the bridge, and it was a phenomenal ride. So once we landed at 8:16 back in Mackinac City, the evening was too beautiful to waste. We decided to walk back to the hotel, get our vehicle, and head over to watch the sunset. So right here, the entrance, if you drive to this location, and there's a huge parking lot here, you can park for free and just walk underneath the Mackinac Bridge for an incredible perspective of the massive support towers. This was just, the photo doesn't even do it justice. It was just really cool being underneath the bridge like this. And we could have walked out further. I didn't have the right shoes on, but we could have walked out. And we could see the sunset there. And I'm not sure if you can see it in this picture, but they have up some kind of fence here. And it just didn't seem that attractive to sit there and watch the sunset. The other views were phenomenal. As you're walking up to this location, you can see the full bridge and take lots of other pictures. But really, I chose this point because I wanted to take a picture of the pillars underneath. So this was phenomenal. This is a must-see area. But we decided to go try to find a little bit better spot for the sunset since it was such a clear night. So we drove about 10 minutes to Mackinac Point Beach, and the sunset absolutely did not disappoint. We were the only people there. It was free parking, and it was a peaceful beach all to ourselves. And as you can see, it was a fantastic sunset. After sunset, we decided to head to Headlands International Dark Sky Park. It was our final stop for the night. Unfortunately, the mosquitoes were absolutely brutal since it was the 1st of June with the mosquitoes hatching, and we honestly just weren't prepared, so we did not stay. But what we saw looked amazing, and this is the advertisement online for it, and this covers everything since I didn't get enough pictures because we didn't stay. So they have a couple things. They have a place you can rent if you're looking for a VRBO, and they have this area, an amphitheater, where it was closed when we were there. Apparently it's open during the day until 4 o'clock to walk around and see different things. But this area right here was so great. You park in this big parking lot and you can walk this trail right here. It goes quite far, all the way down here. And then there is also a little pier that juts out here, just kind of to play on and walk out a little bit. But there were families sitting around. It wasn't too busy. There were some covered areas up here to sit under. It looked like an amazing place with the paved trails, the amphitheater. And then when you're driving into it, it's about a mile drive to get into it. And because it's a designated international dark sky park, it is only lit with red lighting. And you pull up and there'll be a picture of like Pluto, for example, and it will show what Pluto looked like. And then you can type in a number on your phone and it plays all the information, like a 5 to 7 minute conversation. And this is all free, of the mythology. So it's like a solar system walk / drive through, because you could also be on your bike, where each planet has different signs explaining its mythology and history, and it just comes right out through your phone. So it's really neat. It's definitely somewhere I would like to go back to, but with long sleeves, long pants, bug spray, and a blanket. But it is free, so it's another freebie, and it just looked amazing. So after the stargazing, we ended up going back to our hotel around 10:15 p.m. The hotel has a great pool and hot tub. They're very clean, and after relaxing and walking all day, it was a great end to our day. The pool room, for some reason, was strangely hot, really, really hot. I'm not sure why, but otherwise it was clean and comfortable and was a good ending to our day to get ready for the next day. So the next morning, we enjoyed the free hotel breakfast, which was mediocre. It met our needs. It was a regular continental type breakfast, just to be able to get on the road. And then we checked out of the hotel at 9:30 and went on to our next stop, which is the Mackinac, the colonial Mackinac. And it was originally established by the French in 1715 and served as an important fur trading village and military outpost connecting the Great Lakes. The original structures, they were eventually dismantled and moved to Mackinac Island after the British relocated the fort. So what visitors see today is a carefully reconstructed site based on years of excavation. That was something that I didn't realize. I thought there were some original pieces, so I was rather surprised by that. What was neat is a lot of as much as they could, they moved to the fort that was on Mackinac Island, and basically they did not want to leave any standing structures for anything in Mackinac City for anybody else to take over, and they burned it all to the ground. So you'll see the archaeological digs looking for old remains and things like that when you're visiting. We spent about 2 hours exploring. It was really well done. They had a lot of different things going on, and it was worth the time going to it. There was a couple different field trips and things like that. This is just a few pictures of what it looks like inside and out. So as you approach this first one here, this is what it looks like. And then as you go inside, you get to look out these windows that you see. Inside there is about halfway up a track that goes all the way around the building that you can be up on the second level and look out at these fantastic views, which of course they were waiting to see if enemies were coming through or if other goods were being delivered. But there's a great view of the bridge up here. And then this one here was the entry point, the entrance. This one here, there were cannon demonstrations, historical interpreters, exhibits, videos, and recreations of everyday life during the 1700s and early 1800s. And that's what they're doing right here, getting ready for one of the demonstrations of a cannon. It was surprisingly informative and very well done. So we left there probably about noon, and we decided next we were crossing the Mackinac Bridge into the Michigan's Upper Peninsula. We stopped at Sposito's to share a traditional pastry. We got actually one chicken and one beef. And the debate, of course, is whether they're better with ketchup or gravy. And this one came with gravy. It was phenomenal. Some places will not even have gravy. Some places will not even have ketchup. So if you haven't had a chance to try a pasty, this is what they look like. They had, I think, 5 different versions at this place, and we just kind of wanted a little snack to keep going, and hadn't tried this particular restaurant, so we decided to try. So here you can see the pasty, and this is the gravy. We were gravy fans, so we were happy that this place served gravy. And this is just what it looks like, getting in line. There wasn't much of a line from our vehicle getting ready to go over the bridge. And then inside of this restaurant, they had a little book area with used books and just little chairs, and it was a neat, unique little place. And the pasties were phenomenal. Then we finally visited the mystery spot, something I had driven past my entire life, always wondered what the mystery was. We really had no idea what it was, 0 idea. And so that's one of the reasons we got the pasties before having lunch, because we didn't know how long we were going to be there, and we thought a little snack would serve everybody well. So entering the mystery spot, this is the big sign on the outside of the road, and they had some pretty neat things inside. Basically, it's a gravity illusion attraction where it's tilted buildings and unusual angles make people appear to lean, grow, shrink, or somehow defy gravity. It's really an optical illusion mixed with perspective tricks, but it's fun to experience in person. I'm glad we went. I don't have to wonder anymore. So this took about 20 minutes to go through things that look similar to this picture, where a person would stand here, a person would stand here, and they would put a level right here, and the level would show that it was actually level. So, and the whole building, of course, is slanted. Just different things like that. It was fun. Took about 20 minutes. It was $10 a person to enter. They had other things that you pay for separately. We did not use them. Honestly, this made me nauseated for some reason. No fault of the mystery spot, but it sort of messed with my equilibrium. So we did not do the other things, but they had putt-putt golf, and I don't know what the price was on that, but they also had where you could do some different activities that you could do as well. We didn't do any of the other activities, so I don't remember all of them, but I remember there was 3 or 4 different activities, and I just knew we weren't doing them. But I will leave that to you in case you ever go to the mystery spot, so you will have a few surprises. So after just having the sample of the pasties, we were still hungry, and we knew that we wanted to go to Clyde's. So we stopped in for the famous Clyde's Drive-In. The hamburger was excellent. The fries were average, but the vanilla malt was phenomenal. So this place is a must. The price is fair, and you can see back here, this was a single burger, and this was the fries. Were just kind of average fries, but the burger was great, and the vanilla malt was phenomenal. I think they have 3 different malt flavors. They also have shakes if you don't like malt, but they were phenomenal. They're really good. And our final adventure in our 27-hour tour was the famous Narnia Trail inside the John Arthur Woolen Preserve. It's about a 1-mile hike in and a 1-mile hike back out through beautiful cedar forest. There's another extension that you can take that makes a total of 4.5 miles. We did not do that one. We just did I think it's 2.2 miles. The trail is easy to walk, very well maintained, and eventually, so this is where you start off. Again, this is another free trip. So you park here, it's free. You walk in the paved trails here, and you see this clearing, and then it pops out with this beautiful area where I would recommend taking a picnic and just sitting and enjoying it. And the trail is very well maintained. The photos do not capture how blue and perfect the water really was. It was not an aqua blue, but just like a really bright blue, because there was a lot of sand there, and there's also a lot of limestone in that area, so it made the it made the view a beautiful view. Just the picture did not capture the blue that it was. So I'd love to come back during the fall when the forest floor is covered in moss. And that is why they call it the Narnia Forest, because it's supposed to be magical, like you're in Narnia, if you ever read that book when you were a kid. If not, look it up. And that is what inspired its nickname. So it was still a magical walk, just didn't see all the moss and things like that. So final thoughts, we left around 3 p.m. from Narnia, making it almost exactly 27 hours since we arrived. Could we have stayed longer? Absolutely. But we saw everything we wanted on our checklist. None of us felt rushed. It was for adults, and we had an amazing time. My top 3 favorites were the Secret Garden, the potential for the Headlands International Dark Sky Park. Even though we didn't get to stay, it just had great potential, and I really want to go back, and the Narnia Trail. But more than anything, my favorite part was making memories with my favorite people. If you've been thinking about taking a trip to Mackinac, this is your sign to go. A lot of free things have been included here, and you could even really make it more economical than I have. So take the trip, and if you enjoyed following along, don't forget to subscribe for more adventures.